Here's a SAT math question that's very, very easy if you know the formula. If you don't, it's impossible. Here's the formula. To go or to change from degree to radian, you multiply by pi over 180. So remember, to go from degree to radian, pi goes on the top. And the other way, of course, is that if you want to go from radian to degree, which is what we want to do for this question, you multiply by 180 over pi. You have to know this for the SAT because it does come up. And if you know this, this question will be a very easy question. Let's do this question then. We start with that 13 pi over 9. Just like we have here, to change that radian into degree, we're going to multiply by 180 over pi. You could take your calculator and multiply, or how about this? Pi and the pi cancels out. The 9 and the 180 will reduce to 20. Only thing we have left over is the 13 and the 20 on the top, where 2 times 13 is 26. And then we just tack on that extra 0. So then the answer is 260 degrees. Let's do another one that's a little bit more challenging. Sometimes there are questions on the SAT math that are tricky or designed to trap the students into picking the wrong answer. This is such a case. Let me show you the wrong way where the students will do it so that they arrive at the wrong answer choice, as well as, of course, the correct way. So the question reads, a large state forest in Oregon covers an area of 20,072,448 square yards. Then, what's the area in square miles? And of course, on the SAT, they will always give you this. 1 mile equals 1760 yards. First, let me show you the way where it's going to get you the wrong answer. We'll set up a proportion, 1 mile for 1760, and x miles, or x squared miles, for 20,072,448 square yards. And then, to solve for x, we would cross multiply, giving us this. Divided by 1760, then you'll get x equals 11,404.8. And guess what? That's answer choice D. So a lot of the people will simply mark answer choice D and move on. However, this is the wrong way. As I mentioned before, that's not going to be the correct answer. They don't always do this, but sometimes the SAT will have answer choices that are likely to be picked by the students if they use the wrong method. Let me show you the correct way. Just like before, we're going to set up a proportion. Only difference is that I'm going to write down the word mile and the word yards. Underneath, I'm going to write down what's given. However, it's 20,072,448 yards square. I'm going to emphasize the square because it's square yards. If the denominator unit is square yards, then the numerator has to be square yards as well. It's got to be the same. If I square the yards, then I need to go ahead and square the number 1760, and also I need to go ahead and square the mile and 1 as well. This would have been much easier had we squared everything in the given to start out with, and we would not have made this mistake. So remember, if the given is mile and yards, but if we're trying to find square yards from square, if we're trying to find square miles from square yards, the units must be squared as well. That's the key to this question. Then on the bottom left, I'm going to put x mile, once again, square. By doing it this way, the units, the mile square, yard square, will cancel out, hence leaving us with just the number that we could solve for the value of x. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. We're going to cross multiply like this, which will give us 1760 square x. And then we'll go ahead and multiply like this also, where it's going to be 1 times 20,072,000 and 448. Let's go ahead and divide it by 1760 square. And if you work this out on the calculator, you'll get 6.48. There you go, the correct answer. Again, they don't do this a lot, but sometimes, and oftentimes, they'll have a couple of questions like this on every SAT, where they have the wrong answer choice if you use the wrong method. So when you see a question like this, don't forget, if the areas are given, and area in square yards, of course, and then you're trying to find square miles, don't forget to square the units as well. Alrighty, let's do one more where it's a very difficult or hard SAT math question. Here's a question that's considered pretty hard on the SAT math. First, the question gives us that the graph of x squared minus 7x plus y squared minus y equals 263 over 2 in the xy plane is a circle. And the question wants to know, what's the length of the circle's diameter? In order to do this question, you need to first know the standard equation of a circle. Here it is. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we need to take that equation, put it in that format in order to find the center or the radius. In this case, we don't need the center, we just need the radius. First, I'm going to write the question where we have the x's in one parentheses and the y's in another set of parentheses. And notice that I left some room. And on the right side, we have that 263 over 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the completing the square method in order to take that x squared minus 7x, put it into that x minus h squared format. First, we take that negative 7 over negative 7 and then divide it by 2. And then we'll square that, which is 49 over 4. And that's what goes in here, 49 over 4. If we add a 49 over 4 on the left side of the equal sign, we must include 49 over 4 on the right side of the equal sign. Same thing, we have a coefficient of negative 1. We'll divide that by 2 and square it, which will give us 1 over 4. And that's what we're going to put in here, 1 over 4. On the right side, we need to go ahead and add 1 over 4 as well. The left side, we don't care. Remember, we're only looking for the diameter of the circle. In order to find the diameter, we need the radius. And remember, it's r squared on the right side. On the right side, if you take 263 over 2 and 49 over 4 and 1/4, add it all up, we get 144, which of course equals r squared. Then from 144 equals r squared, take the square root, then we get 12 equals r. Again, when we take the square root of left and the right, it's supposed to be plus minus, but remember, radius cannot be a negative value. So we're going to take just the positive value, or 12. Is that the answer? No, we need to do one more step, don't we? We want the diameter. So diameter is going to be 2 times r, or 2 times the radius, which is 2 times 12, or 20 4 is going to be our final answer, or the diameter of that circle. So in order to do a question like this, although we're only looking for the diameter or the radius, you do need to take care of the left side and complete the square in order to get the correct r square, which we take the square root of to find the radius.